Ah, the beloved MacBook Air. Just when everyone thought that Apple was about to kill it off, here they come in and give it a massive overhaul. Hey guys, this is TheJuan&Only, and today I want to talk to you about a very important topic when it comes to Apple's diverse ecosystem. That's its MacBook Air line. So now finally we're going to have an improved resolution screen on the MacBook Air. We're going to have a Retina screen, finally. We have smaller bezels, better, richer speakers. We're going to have stripped down I/O ports, giving us only 2 Thunderbolt 3 ports. The new 3rd generation Butterfly keyboard is now found on this MacBook Air. However, unfortunately, we were all hoping for Apple to keep the consistent price down under $1,000, but here they go and pull a quick one on us, and now the starting price on this machine is $1199. And because it's so close to the MacBook Pro entry price, I feel like consumers are going to have a horrendous time trying to figure out which laptop they should go for. And so today I want to discuss what is beneficial about this new MacBook Pro and why I think you should pick it up. On another note, stay tuned until the end of this video because I do have a small giveaway in appreciation for all of my subscribers. All you have to do is subscribe to my channel, like this video, and leave down a comment. So definitely stay until the end of the video so you can catch up on the rules for my giveaway. Let's dive right in.
It's the kind of beat to go.
Alright, so here we have it, the newly refreshed MacBook Air. Now finally Apple has caught up with the trend and finally put a Retina screen on their MacBook Air. Now I get it, this is geared towards broke college students just like I was a couple years ago. But come on, my Game Boy Advance screen from back in 2004 was better than the previous model screen. It's about time, Apple. Alright, so anyway, this MacBook Air is going to feature only 2 Thunderbolt 3 ports, so no more do we have the fatter, chunkier USB ports, and it is going to be more in a wedge shape. Now, ironically enough, this is called the Air, but it actually isn't the thinnest and lightest laptop that Apple has to offer. That goes to the 12-inch MacBook. But anyway, today we're here for the MacBook Air. So we have MacBook Air branding right there, the Apple logo, the MacBook Air logo there again, of course another Apple logo. Now this is the baseline 13-inch MacBook, so this is what I anticipate most people are going to get, especially if you're a student. So it's going to come with 128 gigabytes of SSD, which I don't know why Apple is doing that. 128 gigs is nowhere near enough what a college student is going to need. We're going to be making a lot of PowerPoints, a lot of essays, a lot of Word documents, and to put a 128 gigabyte SSD in a 2018 premium laptop is kind of insulting. 256 gigs should come standard on these bad boys. 128 gigs just isn't enough. Aside from that, this is the i5 Intel Core 1.6 gigahertz dual core chip. This is finally going to have that Retina display, and we're going to have Touch ID as well. So let's go ahead and dive right into the unboxing. Of course, Apple makes these unboxings really simple for us. We have this pull tab right here, so let's go ahead and get that open. I don't know, unboxing MacBooks is always really nice just because they're bigger devices. I don't know, I just like them much better. Alright, so let's go ahead and open the box, see what's inside. And this box is actually pretty heavy for a MacBook Air. Alright bro, come on, any day now. There we go. So this is the space gray version. I honestly prefer the silver on the laptops, but can't deny the space gray is pretty dope. And actually, man, that is pretty light. Can't deny that. So inside we're gonna have our USB-C to USB-C port for charging it. So we're gonna get that right there. We are gonna get our literature packet right here. Designed by Apple in California, is featured in just about all of them. Let's see what's inside. Just a few tips and tricks on how to use the MacBook Air. I assume a lot of us are used to MacBooks, so this shouldn't be anything new to us. One of the biggest reasons people do get MacBooks is just because of Mac OS and the simplicity of it. The software on these laptops is just superb. I prefer it over any Windows computer, and of course that's going to be my preference. Now, yo, Apple, you hit it out of the park this time. Shout out. These are going to be color matched. Thank you, Apple. So if you get the gold one, you're going to get gold stickers. If you get the silver one, these are going to be just your your typical white stickers. Now, I was gonna get the gold version of this MacBook Air, but they didn't have any, and I'm kind of glad I didn't because it's kind of a girly color. It's not really gold, it's more like rose gold, so I'm kind of glad I didn't get that. All right, and lastly, we're gonna get our 30-watt adapter here, so it is a USB-C plug-in. Now, what's really cool is if you get this MacBook, you'll be able to fast charge any iPhone 8 and newer. So you'll be able to use this brick along with a USB-C to lightning cable, which is sold separately, and you'll be able to charge 50% on your phone in under 30 minutes. So that is something cool to keep in mind. So let's set that all off to the side and come right over to what we really came here for, the new updated MacBook Air. So let's remove this plastic. Honestly, one of my favorite parts. Let's try to do this as nice as we can. The sound of that plastic though. There we go. So now just giving a tour of the MacBook itself. If you wanted to get this MacBook Air to be bougie, well, you're not gonna get that anymore because there's no more logo that lights up anymore. Yo, I was devastated when I found that out about the new MacBook Pros as well. So the Apple logo doesn't light up, so we can't be extra and come into the classroom with our Starbucks coffee and the glowing Apple logo, unfortunately. Gonna have to be basic this year. We do have those two Thunderbolt 3 ports that I mentioned here, and as you can see, it kind of tapers towards the edge right over here. It's very thin when you come right here to the edge. Now, I wouldn't say this part is thick, but man, I mean, it just tapers off and it gets very, very skinny right there. Here, we're gonna have a very simple indentation, which makes it very easy to just lay your MacBook and then just open it up like so. So we're gonna have that there. On the right, we are gonna have a headphone port. So really weird that on the MacBook, Apple did decide to still stick around and keep that 3.5mm jack there. So wired headphone users rejoice. And on the bottom, we just have some of the regulatory information as well as our 4 feet here so that the MacBook doesn't move while we're typing. So let's go ahead and go in depth with this new MacBook Air. So one of the best things about MacBooks that us Apple fans love is just the convenience and ease of use with the ecosystem. So if you have an iOS device, specifically an iPhone, it's gonna interact with your iPhone like butter. It's gonna be like your MacBook and your iPhone are just destined to get married. I wanna show you some cool features here. So first, I wanna talk about the display. This is gonna be a 13.3-inch diagonal LED backlit display, and it is gonna have IPS technology with 256 by 1600 native resolution at 227 pixels per inch. And this is gonna have, I believe, something of 40 to 50% more colors and color accuracy than the one before it. As you can also notice, the bezels on this machine are considerably smaller. On the previous generation, it was an eyesore just to see those enormous bezels on the screen itself. This particular model, as mentioned, is the baseline model. So it is going to be an Intel Core i5 1.6 gigahertz dual core chip, and it's going to have turbo boost up to 3.6. I already mentioned my gripe with the storage, but the entry-level MacBook Air is going to come with 128 gigabytes of SSD, which is nowhere near enough, but luckily it is configurable up to 256, 512, or 1.5 terabyte. If you're a student, I would definitely consider at least upgrading your SSD to 256 gigabyte. If you upgrade anything at all about this machine, it would have to be the SSD. You definitely are going to need more storage than 128 gigs. And lastly, the baseline model does come with 8 gigabytes of RAM. You can configure it up to 16. Now, for most college students, 8 gigabytes of RAM is plenty enough. The only reason you should be getting 16 gigs of RAM on this machine is if you're gonna run any type of editing software, or if you're a computer science major and are gonna use a lot of those math applications, I would definitely pick up 16 gigs. So now for some cool features. So what I love about Apple's products is just a proprietary technology that ties all your devices together. So you're gonna have AirDrop, AirPlay, Continuity, iCloud. All of these proprietary software technologies just work flawlessly on these machines and definitely make your devices interact within the ecosystem. So say you're on your iPad or your phone and you're just, I don't know, say you want to look at the dankest memes of 2017. and you have your MacBook right in front of you, what you can do is scroll here on this website right here, and if you want to, you can just put down your iPad and pick it right back up over here on your MacBook Air. Magic. Look at that. So now we just left off over here and picked up on our MacBook Air, and you can do that with any website. So say now you want to go to yahoo.com, say for example, you can do that on your iPad or on your iPhone. So now we have Yahoo pulled up, and let's just go ahead and close this right here, and let's pull up Yahoo on our MacBook Air. Flawless. I'm telling you. When I tell you that continuity is the next big thing with your iOS ecosystem, I mean it. It's going to make your student life so much easier, because I know when I was at university study, I would go back and forth all the time between my devices. Another terrific thing about the MacBook is iMessage. iMessage is going to save your life. And so just to demonstrate here, you can do this on your iPhone or on your iPad or even your Apple Watch. So I'm going to text my girlfriend. I forgot I left my sweater at her house. So you can send it from your iPad or your iOS device such as your iPhone, and you can pick off right here on your MacBook. And if it's iPhone to iPhone, you'll even be able to see the bubbles. Oh, so look there, she replied, she's nah, but you can just reply here. I told her Kaden, and that message was sent. It's really effortless. You can even do emojis on here. They're right here at your fingertips. It's fantastic. iMessage on the MacBook is just going to be so insane. It's going to be so easy just to interact with your other devices. Now, some other cool features, as I mentioned, this is going to come with your Touch ID sensor. So as I mentioned earlier, this is going to have the T2 chip. So that's going to help with your biometric authenticity when it comes to your Touch ID sensor. So that way you don't always have to put in your passcode. As a matter of fact, you can just use the Touch ID sensor, and it's going to be housed right over here. So it's going to be very convenient just to press your finger on there and boom, now it's unlocked. Now, of course, with your MacBook, when you're paying more than $1,100 on this device, ain't no way in hell I'm gonna call my MacBook just a regular laptop. It's just not gonna happen. If you're spending this much money, it's a goddamn MacBook, okay? But if you want to be bougie, even though we lost the backlit Apple logo, if you have an Apple Watch, you can actually unlock your device with just your Apple Watch. So you would just have to go into the settings and adjust it there. So let's try it out. So it's gonna say unlocking with Apple Watch, and would you look at that? My MacBook was unlocked with just my Apple Watch. So if you do have an Apple Watch, it's going to be really convenient for you as well. And this is how Apple just capitalizes on their customers. The ecosystem, man. It's going to work flawlessly between all your devices. Now, of course, this isn't a power-hungry device. This is definitely geared towards more of college students. If you're just going to browse the web, if you're just going to go and look at some YouTube videos, you're going to be 100% fine. It's going to be as fast as you'd ever want it to be. However, if you're going to run some applications like Final Cut or Logic, then that's when your MacBook Air is definitely going to suffer. You're going to get about 12 hours of internet use on this device, 13 hours of iTunes movie playback. I don't know why Apple thinks it's a good idea to measure their battery by iTunes movie playback. That's what they said at their keynote. It's kind of dumb. Look, you're just going to get really good battery. From all of their MacBook lineup, from their 12-inch MacBook, the MacBook Air, and the MacBook Pro, this one is actually the one with the best battery life of all. So all in all, this is a very well-rounded device. The only downside, of course, is the entry price. We were all hoping for that $999 price tag, but I guess we are paying for that new Retina display, upgraded internals, the T2 chip with the Touch ID sensor, and the speakers. Alright, so in terms of speakers, this is a huge leap forward. I mean, the speakers in the old MacBook Air kinda sorta sounded like PSP speakers. You guys remember the PlayStation Portable? Yeah, they sucked. They were really bad. So if you listen to any kind of music or need your MacBook Air with really decent audio quality, this is the one to pick up. The audio is much improved, and here I'm going to showcase a couple songs that are on my gym playlist just so that you can kind of have an idea of the speaker quality. Now, these are some of my favorite songs. Normally hit the gym. This is how I get a good bench press in, so just go ahead and listen here. pretty dope speakers, I know. So moving right along, this MacBook Air is going to feature the new and improved 3rd generation butterfly keyboard mechanism. So these are going to be much quieter keys as compared to your 2nd generation. So here I'm just going to pretend like I'm typing something just to give you an idea of how it's going to sound. Of course, I've been told that us MacBook users tend to type a little loud because we got MacBooks, and I mean, they're not wrong. So it's still going to be a little loud, not as much though. And so I actually love these keyboards as opposed to your traditional scissor mechanism. I just love the low travel on them and how quickly you're able to bounce around and keep typing. So I do type kind of fast, so these keyboards are perfect for me. Now this is going to be that 13.3-inch diagonal display like I told you, and it's going to have a max brightness of 300 nits. So it's not going to be as bright as, say, your Apple Watch out in the sunlight or as bright as your iPhone can get, but it still gets considerably bright. This is the max brightness on there, and honestly that should be more than enough for everyone. I normally keep my screen at about half brightness, just about there. So just having those 300 nits is really cool. Say maybe if you're outside typing an essay or something, then I guess I could definitely understand there. It is also going to have, I forgot to mention, the keyboard is also backlit, and what's really cool about these keys is each individual key has its own light. So each individual key is lit by itself, whereas before on previous models you could kind of see some light leaking out from the keyboard, and that's because you kind of had just some tiny light bulbs just illuminating the whole keyboard, whereas now each key is lit by itself. So I think that's pretty cool. Now I did also test the performance of the MacBook Air versus my iMac, which is my production machine. So it is important to know how you're going to use this MacBook Air. As these tests are going to prove, the processor here in the MacBook Air 2018 baseline model isn't too impressive, especially when it comes to the graphics and performance power. Here I did run some Cinebench scores on my MacBook Air and also on my iMac. So here it looks like on our OpenGL score we did get 33.88 frames per second. So that's going to really test the graphics, and that's not too good. CPU score we did get 269. So if you compare over here to my iMac, our OpenGL is 90.67 frames per second and our CPU is 597. I did also run some Geekbench scores as well, and so this will give us a really good indication on how powerful our computer really is. So the MacBook Air got a single core score of 4,300. On the multi-core score, only a score of 7,800. So in terms of single core applications like browsing the web, creating Word documents, it's perfect for just those basic tasks. However, it starts suffering on multi-core score side whenever you start trying to, use logic or compressor or anything that's really going to use any graphic intensive tasks such as gaming. So where here we have 4,300 and 7,800, over here on the iMac we do jump up to 5,200 and a whopping 15,000 on the multi-core score side. Very big difference. So just do keep that in mind when you're purchasing this MacBook Air. It's not intended to be a pro device, so I would definitely refrain from using any type of Photoshop, any type of video editing, or gaming on your MacBook Air. So you now probably want my honest opinion about this laptop, right? If it were to have remained at $999, by God, it would have been an immediate buy, no questions asked. But because Apple raised the price by $200 and now the price is so close to the entry-level MacBook Pro, I get it. It's really hard to decide between the two. Look, if you're a college student, I say go ahead and go for it. Apple will give you a small discount on your laptop. It's going to be anywhere between $50 to $100. Just show them your university ID or your college ID and you'll get hooked up with an education special price. If that's all you're going to use it for, I think it's the best choice. You have a really good resolution, you have some booming speakers. The performance, you really don't need that fast of a processor in it if all you're going to do is browse the web, get on YouTube, and I know a lot of you are going to take 2-hour study breaks and watch some Netflix, so it should be fine in that respect. Now, if you're going to start using multi-core applications such as Final Cut, or if you're going to use any rendering application whatsoever when it comes to movies, audio, or anything of that sort, I would say stay away from this. It's not going to give you the performance you expect out of this machine. So at $1,200, man, Apple, I really wish they would have toned it down. I get it, we get some upgraded stuff. We have some cool things as well, like the T2 chip and Touch ID. But is it really worth it? Go ahead and give it a try though. You're not going to be disappointed. These new laptops are fire. They're sexy as hell. They're very small and they're very thin, which means they're going to be really portable. You'll be able to take them just about anywhere with you. But stay tuned because I'll give you my thoughts on the other MacBooks as well. I myself have a MacBook Pro and I use it all the time when it comes to editing video. So definitely subscribe. And on that topic, let's go ahead and get on the topic of my giveaway. So unfortunately, I won't be able to give this MacBook Air away. However, I am willing to give away a $25 Apple Store gift card. So it is a token of my appreciation for the endless support I've gotten on this channel. So all you have to do, like I mentioned at the beginning, is 3 things. Definitely number 1 is you have to be subscribed to the channel. Second, give this video a thumbs up. And lastly, all I need you to do for that last part is comment down below which phone you're rocking right now. It could be an Android, it could be an iPhone, it could be a Google phone, it could be an old prehistoric flip phone. I don't care. Just let me know down there which phone you have and you'll be entered into the contest. I'll be drawing a random name a week from now and I'll announce it on my Twitter as well as DM the winner. So definitely follow me on Twitter if you want to find out if you won. Well guys, good luck to everyone. I hope that this video was informative to you guys, and I really do hope that you make a well-informed decision before you get that MacBook Air, since the price was raised and sometimes you can be a little iffy on which MacBook to buy. The ease of use of the MacBooks is phenomenal. It's going to interact with your phone. It's going to be a godsend if you're already invested heavily in the Apple ecosystem. Well guys, I really hope to catch you guys in the next one, and I look forward to making more of these videos. Peace.